World War II was not a war of clean front lines or predictable weather. Soldiers dug in wherever they could, from wet forests to shattered city blocks to mud-churned fields that swallowed equipment whole. Protection was not a luxury. It was the difference between living through a bombardment or being exposed when the sky turned hostile. Ordinary canvas tarps wouldn't last a week. They tore, rotted and shredded under shrapnel. But the armies that understood field survival, especially those fighting in the harshest climates, turned to a material that looked plain, even crude, but routinely withstood what canvas couldn't. It was the reinforced World War II shelter cover, a hybrid fabric that stayed intact under stress, absorbed shock instead of tearing, and gave soldiers a dependable shield against rain, wind and falling debris. It wasn't glamorous, but it was brutally effective. And for anyone studying historical durability or looking for survival-grade shelter ideas, this forgotten wartime cover is a masterclass in rugged engineering. The World War II reinforced cover began as a response to canvas failures on the eastern and western fronts. By the early years of the war, military engineers knew that standard canvas sheets could not keep up with battlefield conditions. Rain and mud, weakened fibres. Frost stiffened them until they cracked. Continuous tension led to ripping along seams. Worse still, any nearby explosion, whether an artillery shell or a mortar impact, created shock waves that canvas simply couldn't absorb. Armies needed a material that could, withstand multiple types of stress simultaneously, shearing force, puncture from debris, and long-term exposure to water and friction. The solution emerged from a combination of agricultural fabrics, industrial tar cloth, and burlap-style natural fibre weaves. The core idea was to produce a layered material that behaved more like armour than fabric. The inner layer provided structural strength. The middle layer offered shock absorption. And the outer layer, that provided weather resistance. The result was a shelter cover so tough that, some units continued using the same sheets for months without catastrophic failure. Soldiers used these covers to reinforce dugout roofs, line trench walls, patch gaps in bunkers, shelter supply stacks, and protect equipment from freezing rain. What set them apart was not just strength, it was the way they responded to stress. Instead of tearing instantly, the layers distributed impact, often preventing a complete breach. The secret of the World War II cover's durability lay in how its fibres were reinforced and treated. Unlike ordinary canvas that relied purely on woven cotton or hemp, the reinforced World War II cover used a tight weave of jute or flax, backed with a tar-infused or oil-cured coating. This treatment did two things at once. It prevented water absorption, meaning the fibres didn't weaken when soaked. It also gave the material a flexible toughness that helped it stretch under force instead of splitting. Some versions included cross-layer stitching that prevented ripping along a single direction. Others added a thin mesh interior that acted like a primitive tear net, stopping punctures from spreading. When shrapnel struck these covers, they might get pierced, but they didn't unravel. That difference gave soldiers precious seconds, or even minutes, to reinforce shelters before the next wave of shells. Archival reports from field engineers in the Italian and Eastern campaigns describe reinforced covers surviving blasts that took out nearby wooden supports. The covers sagged, scorched, or frayed, but they held. That ability to hold shape under pressure is what made them, well, indispensable. The cover's performance under shelling made it a field engineer favourite for improvised shelter construction. In the war's most unstable positions, soldiers often built overhead protection using timber, sod and debris, then layered the reinforced cover on top before adding earth. The material served as both waterproofing and shock spreader. Instead of allowing force to punch through a single point, the cover redirected energy across its entire surface. This gave trench roofs more time to absorb impacts without collapsing. Field manuals show that soldiers used these covers to do more than just shield trenches. They lined underground bunkers, wrapped ammunition crates, reinforced foxholes, and even patched vehicle roofs temporarily. Their adaptability made them one of the few pieces of equipment suited for nearly every environment, from Scandinavian winter fronts to Pacific monsoons. The reason modern survivalists can learn from this material is simple. It proved that multi-layer natural fabric could outperform synthetics under certain stresses. It resisted slicing, didn't crumble in cold weather, and handled abrasion that would shred nylon or PVC tarps. This World War II method can be replicated today with practical steps using available materials. For survivalists or off-grid builders, recreating the reinforced cover doesn't require militarized materials. A strong natural fiber cloth, such as heavy jute flax canvas or hemp, serves as the base layer. Saturating this fabric with a mixture of boiled linseed oil and pine tar creates a weather-resistant skin similar to wartime coatings. The key, really, is full penetration, not just surface treatment. For added strength, insert a mesh layer between two sheets of fabric before applying the treatment. Burlap, or honestly, any coarse netting works. Once bound together and cured, this layered material becomes flexible, tough, and resistant to tearing. Using such a cover for shelter roofing, tool protection, pack reinforcement, or dugout sealing creates a durable barrier capable of enduring stress that would destroy lightweight tarps. If building an overhead shelter, you'll want to stretch the material tightly across supporting beams, then, add soil or debris on top. The cover should sag slightly under load, but not tear. If used as a temporary wall lining, you'll want to secure it with wooden pegs or lashings to prevent, wind-driven strain. The World War II reinforced cover. Well, it remains a testament to wartime ingenuity that still, in some situations, outperforms modern materials. It wasn't designed for convenience. No, it was engineered for survival, for those moments when everything else failed. The layered construction, the shock-absorbing treatment, and the natural fibre toughness, these all created a material that truly earned soldiers' trust during bombardments when nothing else held up. If you want more deep dives into historical engineering, forgotten wartime innovations, and practical survival knowledge with real, usable methods, make sure you subscribe to In the Beginning, share this video, and help keep this essential knowledge alive for future generations.